The August 26th meeting of the local alcohol beverage board of St. Joseph County is now in session. My name is Lee Slavinskas and I serve as president of the board, actually of board number one pertaining to Mishawaka renewals only. Mr. Caldwell will take over later.
That's two.
Oh, two, okay. And then Mr. Caldwell will take over later and preside over that meeting. This meeting is being in audio and video recorded and streamed live via Microsoft Teams. It will be preserved and available for viewing via the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission's YouTube page. So the board requests that you act accordingly. Please silence your cell phones. When your permit is called, we ask that you not speak over board members or others testifying so that their recording is clear. If you are an applicant, here representing an applicant, or here to remonstrate, we ask that you testify under no oath. Excise Officer Michelle Trauber will now swear you in.
Okay, if you can stand and raise your right hand, please. All right, do each of you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury the answers you have given on your application and any questions asked by the board today to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Can be seated.
All right. The next item of business is approval of the minutes of the last meeting, which were electronically shared with everyone. Motion to approve. We have a motion, a second.
I'll second.
A motion, a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next item of business is approval of the renewals without any violations, which are RR 713-1011, the India Garden, DL 713-0367, Mega Liquor and Smoke on Lincoln Way East, RR 713-3639, doing business as Jesus, RR 7133937, doing business as Cosmo and Susie's, a bit of Italy, RR 7134142, Parkway Lanes, RR 7135883, Board and Brush, Mishawaka. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, seeing that there's no other business before the Mishawaka portion board two, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll second.
We have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Okay, Mr. Woolley, your renewal was approved automatically because you didn't have any violations.
It was approved, yeah.
Yeah, you're all set. Actually, you didn't have to appear.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. Good to see you.
What place are you here for?
My
Okay.
lease gonna run out the end of the year.
She missed the swear.
Okay. I have to go a different direction.
To sell your license?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's able to do that. If your lease is up and you're closing the business,
Well, it's kind of iffy right now, because it's kind of country, was bought out. And I've been there for 37 years.
I know.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
So I just wonder if I could sell that marijuana license. Do I have to go through different procedures?
You have to, whoever the new person would be that wants to own it, they would have to file a transfer of ownership. And you'd have to sign a consent allowing them to take ownership of it. Then they can either open it up there or they could move it somewhere else in Mishawaka.
Okay, suppose nobody takes it.
Nobody
No.
takes it, you sell it.
You sell it.
I had to a different, how you sell this, I don't know. I've been had this for 37 years,
I think you find someone who's interested in buying it
okay?
and they apply to get it,
Yeah,
then you okay it. And then I guess you negotiate with the prices.
yeah. You would contact state excise, police
Okay,
for
No,
paperwork.
no, no. You contact the ATC,
Yeah,
but the new applicant will do that. You won't have to do that part. The new person.
Take it over.
I got a year yet, so I just want to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
if,
Thank
if
you.
you
all
are,
right.
if you are gonna close down though, the restaurant before you sell,
Yeah.
then you do wanna put the permit in escrow so that you don't lose it.
Okay,
Okay, and that basically tells the state to hold it for you, cause you're still you're gonna do something. You're gonna sell it or reopen or something like that. Yeah.
Make sure. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a wonderful day.
Okay, call to order the Alcoholic Beverage Board #1 of St. Joe County. I guess I get to read this over. Today is August 26th. And I am Jim Caldwell, Service President of the Board. Also in attendance is Lisa Levinskas, Officer Trauber, and Eli Wax are members and present. This meeting is being audio and video recorded live and streamed live stream on Microsoft Teams. It will be preserved and available for viewing via the Alcohol Tobacco Commission's YouTube page. So board requests that you act accordingly. Please silence your cell phone when your permit is called. We ask that you don't speak over the board members or those testifying, and so that the recording is clear. If you are an applicant here representing an applicant or here to remonstrate, we ask that you would testify under oath. You are the only one that needs to be sworn in. If you would stand up and raise your right hand.
do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury, the answers you have given on your application and any questions asked by the board today to be the truth, full truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, next up is there a motion to approve the minutes of the previous July meeting?
So moved. Second.
Motion in the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next up is automatic renewal of the establishments without any violations. I will read them off. Army Navy Union number 146 on Western Avenue in South Bend. Bob's Pub on Portage Avenue in South Bend. South Bend International Airport on Progress Drive in South Bend. McClure Oil number 75 on Michigan Street in South Bend. Barnaby's on East Jefferson in South Bend. CVS Pharmacy 8642 on South Bend Avenue. South Bend Firefighters Association on Lincoln Way West in South Bend. Martin's Supermarket number 16 on State Road 23 in Granger. Dockside pending a location in South Bend. Bob's 19th hole on US 20 West in South Bend. Murphy's Backyard Pub on Mishawaka Avenue in South Bend. And Blarney Stone Wine and Spirits number 1 on McKinley Avenue in South Bend. And lastly is the Bucket Shack on Ironwood in South Bend. Is there a motion to approve those without violation?
So moved. Second.
Motion in the second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Next up, we have Here's Bar and Grill, RR 7136368.
This is just for the renewal of the existing permit at this.
Okay. I'm gonna just thank you.
Okay.
Comments.
Okay. If you could all state your name for the record, please.
Yes. Steve Malovich. Alex Intermill.
Justin Christmas.
And then your position.
Yeah, current owner. Steve's the owner.
Okay.
Manager
Manager gonna.
and,
own.
Okay.
and attorney
Yes.
for both.
Okay.
So Michelle, do you want me to start or?
Sure.
Okay, so this is a bit of an unusual case or matter this morning. We have the renewal, as Officer Trauber mentioned. There were violations that were issued by excise under Steve's ownership as a social LLC. The ATC prosecutor, Drew Wignall, in his recommendation, he had a recommendation to revoke the permit. This goes back to the first part of this year, January, February. The prosecutor and I were discussing and Steve transferring the permit in lieu of revocation. Steve was working on that, ultimately found Jessica and her company, Jeshu, is also on your agenda for the transfer that we hopefully get to transfer the permit. Before the transfer application was able to be filed, the ATC scheduled and held the revocation hearing in roughly March of this year, took evidence and testimony on that, and that matter is still pending. In the interim after that, we filed the transfer application to move the permit to Jeshu, which the prosecutor and I had talked about. The ATC processed that application, has it on your agenda today. It was on your agenda for last month, but the orange sign, there was an issue with that. Typically, we would have a settled violation for you here, but this is unusual that they have already had a hearing on the proposed penalty, and that's pending. What's important is on the August 4th commission meeting this month, earlier this month, we filed an extension of the permit because Jeshu and Jessica have been managing the permit and the premises since June under the MQs until hopefully the transfer goes through. Commissioner McGinn, in her comments before the board and considering the extension, mentioned several times she thought a transfer was appropriate. There had been these issues. And so hopefully, her words roughly, that in 30 days, she granted 30-day extension, they would have a transfer back in front of them. So that's all give you the backstory on the renewal side of things and why it is a bit unusual, these circumstances. But the commission is well aware and the commissioners are well aware that a transfer is what we're seeking. And, hopefully we'll be able to get to that today as well, to talk about moving this permit out from Steve's ownership over to Jessica's ownership and move forward.
This was a 1-year renewal from 2025.
Was it 25 or 24 when we were here? I do remember when we
It
were.
might have been 24 because
yes.
it's been continue.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because of violations back then.
Mhm.
Do you want to review the violations that have occurred in the during this renewal? The license period?
Well, you have had more violations. So October of 25, you had another violation for a public nuisance. Do you want to tell the board about that? Like, that was after a 1-year renewal?
Are you asking for myself or help?
Mhm.
Either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, there were a variety. So most of the violations pertained to, it wasn't what we had when we first, a few years ago or a couple of years ago, where there was the incident very publicized with underage kids. That has been remedied. These public nuisance stemmed from activities from the town and then also then reporting to the excise keeping an eye on things, and there were alleged overserved intoxicated individuals coming out. Our evidence, we don't see that they were served or were intoxicated or intoxicated folks were served inside. Individuals coming out, leaving the premises. There were 2 or 3 violations that were issued, all stemming from the same thing, just kind of late night customers that had too much to drink. We don't think that it was too much to drink at Cheers. ATC and excise disagreed with us. That was the purpose of the revocation hearing and the testimony and evidence issued there or presented there. I mean, that's the gist of it. I mean, of those violations. So the actions that Steve took, working not only with Roseland PD, Mr. Wax was part of at least one on a local public nuisance issue, local violation, which is different than the public nuisance alleged by excise. To work through those things over the last year plus, Steve has worked with Roseland PD. I know he has had extensive conversations with the Assistant Police Chief, Benaki, as well as the patrol officer who is typically on nights and was involved in some of these incidents. And I believe
Yeah,
you're there and you're up here. I think those fences have largely been mended and issues have.
yeah, the officers on Roseland's Police Department have been very happy with the way things have been handled. Last Assistant Chief Benaki and Sean as well, who's also attended on there, and the K-9 unit have all said that we've been handling things great the last it's been a few months now more than so. And in fact, I think Assistant Benaki's trying to contact you to have that discussion with you as well about that. So,
Yeah, I did not get any phone calls and I did not get any emails as of today.
yeah, he may have called your office or office number.
Okay, well,
Was there a shooting?
well, I'm gonna review, but so we have fire code issues that have been happening there. Mr. Meltzer, you wanna kind of state your name, title, and what problems you are having there?
Yes, Ron Meltzer, I'm the fire marshal for Clay Fire Territory, so we cover Roseland. We've had, over years, we've always had issues that have taken a long time to resolve. It gets resolved, but it takes a lot of, how you want to say, I have to go to the state fire marshal, I have to go to the health department, I have to come to ATC to get a lot of these things resolved. Currently, right now, I still have a sprinkler system that is scheduled for Friday, but this has been going on since May to get this resolved, and coming up to this meeting now that finally gets scheduled. So it takes all these special things to actually get them completed. I've got, my inspector was just in a couple weeks ago and found electrical issues in there. And it's those keep popping up. I mean, it's just one after another. We're finding all these issues, and they get resolved, but it just takes forever. And that's what I'm just want it to be good and safe for the community, for your business. I don't want to see a business go away. I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't want to see it on the news. That's the whole thing. So I'm here not to oppose anything. I'm not here to approve anything, for this. I'm just here I just want things to get fixed.
So you have electrical issues and sprinkler system issues?
Yeah, so the sprinkler system is the antifreeze system that's supposed to get, the way I understand from Steve, it's supposed to get inspected on Friday. I've been told, for the last month that's getting done. So finally, hopefully it's getting done on Friday. I know we had a lot of issues in the kitchen. The health department has fixed some of those issues for us by coming in, but now we still have electrical issues in there for exposed wiring. We got extension cords. I know I went in, we found the smoke detector was even covered one time going in there. There's only one smoke detector in that building, and it's right above the electrical panel, which is close to the kitchen. So it was said because due to the cleaning, it was covered, but who knows how long that was on. It's just safety issues that keep occurring in the building that way. So very good.
Questions?
So, no, I have no questions for Mr. Meltzer. Why, when did you schedule the inspection with the fire department?
We had 2 inspections. So Shamba was handling they call it the antifreeze system. They came through and made the repairs the first time, or checks the first pressure test the first time around. Then we had to have the repairs done. Then we have to do a follow-up inspection, which is what's happening on Friday. And that has taken a bit of time. It's been a rather expensive ordeal. So it's just something that we're trying to work through in budget as well to take care of, but the last inspection is on Friday, so the system is operational. We should be clear to go. They've got, we had some other issues we took care of, things like signs. Paul Rainwater, the assistant chief, was in there yesterday. We looked through, there's a couple of extension cords we have to take off. There was one outlet cover that was missing. We have to replace that. And outside of that, I think there was one issue in the kitchen. We have to cut off a line. We had one old grill that we had removed back in July, and we had wrapped the cord and taped it up and put it up against the wall. We had to take that off and cap it off. And that was one thing he addressed with me yesterday when he was walking through the building. So those are pretty much the gist of the situation for that building. It's a really old building, so every time we make changes, there are things that have to be done on top of what we had already completed and have to redo. So that's really what it's coming down to. It can be a little bit daunting, but we are on the tail end of that stuff.
Have you been in communication at all with the fire marshal regarding like, hey, we're waiting on whoever to do the,
I mean, we do
Okay, to
talk.
do-
I mean, we try to
Okay.
keep in communication with them.
okay. Any questions regards to that for anybody? So you had a violation in July of 25, public nuisance. That was when you're saying that maybe the ATC and the prosecutor disagreed with you guys on. Then in October of 25, there was another violation for a public nuisance. Then January of 26, there was another violation. Well, what was this most recent one? Looks like, I'm trying to peruse the report real quick. Falsification of records.
I don't know what that's
What was
about.
That was now, there was, so that stemmed, I think, at least in part from the initial proposed buyer that Steve had identified worked at Cheers Pub back when the initial incidents that were on the news with the underage folks. He was not disclosed as an owner because he wasn't a legal owner of Cheers Pub, of the LLC or otherwise. When we filled out the initial transfer application to move to this fella's company, it was called Show Pony LLC, I think was the name of the company that this guy, I forget his name, what's his? Doug. As the ATC prosecutor was reviewing the transfer application, this is part of the conversations I was having with him to try to transfer the permit in lieu of going through the revocation. I got a call from the prosecutor saying this Doug was an owner. No, he wasn't. Steve is, no, he's not. When Doug gave an interview or interviews to local media, and it's out there on YouTube, and I watched it. And when he's in, I think at a town council meeting, says, I'm one of the owners of Cheers Pub, which flagged he was never listed as an owner of the social LLC. And so I believe that's, at least in part, what clued in excise and Prosecutor Wignall that, well, wait a second, should he have been disclosed as an owner before? And still legally, we know what he said. It's there, it's on the video, we can all watch it. But as far as an owner for disclosure on the ATC application, he wasn't. We know what he said. Speaking, I mean, I can't,
Is he a property owner?
I don't.
He's an investor with our property thing. When we did the remodel, he had loaned us the funds for that. So that's what he was saying that for, not for the business itself. So it's just a misunderstanding.
Okay,
So, but in other words, he does have indirect influence or involvement with the business.
From the property ownership
From the
perspective,
property.
yes.
But not operations.
Yeah.
So under the new law where it's the 5% and actual control, there was no actual control over it. But and he wasn't, a member of the LLC, he wasn't an owner in that respect either. But that is the falsification of records
okay,
claim stemmed from that, which then when that issue came up, I talked with the prosecutor. He was uncomfortable with Steve moving forward with a transfer to Doug. What was Doug's last name? Michael. And so found a subsequent buyer, that fell through. Revocation hearing, it was scheduled interim, found Jessica and her company, and finally have a transfer application that was processed and scheduled to try to move the permit out from underneath Steve and to Jessica, so it started a clean slate.
Okay, now the town, I think it's the town president, Mike Schlalk, is that right?
Yeah.
He was not able to be here today, but he had come other months to remonstrate against the renewal of the permit. But he did receive an email from Rosalind, Bigby, basically saying that, and this is in May of this year, saying that, they don't have a good rapport with like you as a neighbor. They've been there for 8 years, and they're considering not renewing their lease with the city, I guess because, or the town, because of your clientele coming over to the parking lot, damaging things, leaving it, you know, dirty, whatever. And Alex, if you want to take a picture of that, I don't have a copy, sorry, but, so, I mean, you do have a responsibility to be a good neighbor. So, like, what are you doing to be a good neighbor?
Alex, do you want to address?
Go, I mean, you
We,
dealt with,
it's a little bit confusing because we've had security taken care. We've had a good working relationship with Bixby for years. And we've gone in there and spoken with the managers. And when we speak one-on-one, we don't seem to have these issues. There really seems to be an issue when the president of the town is involved in it. So I spoke with Christina, who's the GM there. I've spoken with staff members. They never seem to have a problem with us. And we've had a good working relationship with them. Also the German restaurant adjacent to them, so we can all mutually use each other's parking lots. Bixby's customers use our parking lots constantly. We have no problems with that and vice versa. They've asked us to pick things up. We did have an issue a couple of years ago with people leaving bottles and things like that, but our security has been pretty consistent about picking that stuff up for last couple of years. So we're kind of baffled that that's even coming up, because when we go and speak with the managers and staff of Bixby, they never seem to talk about this. They're like, we have no problems with you guys. So there seems, it seems manufactured, and I don't really know what else to say about that now. If someone wants.
How late are you open?
We have been dialing it back during the week. We've dialed it back a couple hours. We'll close at 1 o'clock. The weekends was
Bixby's closed.
8.
Hey, they're a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. And we pick up the bottles and trash. We check as we leave. We make sure that it's clean. So it's been really good for the last couple of years. So we're kind of shocked that that's even been an issue at this point in time. It just feels like there's been a couple of parking issues for some shows. We talk about using it then. Like I said, their customers use our lot all the time. I mean, every Sunday morning, Saturday, you could see cars. I've got 4 line trucks sitting in my parking lot this morning at 7 a.m. They're all sitting having breakfast at Bixby. Half my parking lot is full. Now, I don't care because we're not open, but that's the kind of mutual relationship we've had. And it just feels like that there's some sort of somebody's pushing an agenda, and I don't really know who it is. I don't have an answer for that. But when I speak with Bixby, we have no issues. When somebody else is speaking on Bixby's behalf, there seems to be issues. So that's really what I don't really know what to tell you. You guys can go in there and speak, talk to them yourselves. We don't have any problems with them from our end.
I think one of the statements that the email makes is that Steve was trying to get their personal information at Bigby for their lawyer, which I think was me.
Yes,
and I think that is related to better part a little over a year or so ago. We were in a meeting with the town council president, Shaw, Mr. Wax, Steve, and myself, and we talked about this issue with Bigby and customers leaving bottles and trash and whatnot. And part of the plan to address those local issues, and it's an ATC issue as well, but was to do a sweep, have at the, when you guys close at night, employees go out and make sure that if there is anything, if customers, the trash is picked up. Sounds like that may not have happened, at least on one night back in May when this email was generated. But I think that the Steve correct me if I'm wrong, asking for the personal information is that we were still trying to get some sort of formal agreement with Big B, which came out of the meeting with President Shaw for parking and for these types of things. Just like put it on paper, here's the expectations, because we want, there was disconnect about whether Cheers customers after hours could park at Big B and vice versa. Like Steve's mentioned, their customers parking at Cheers. So I think that was the only reason we were trying to get contact information so that I could send them a proposed, just short parking lease agreement or parking arrangement to allow that.
I submitted a mutual shared agreement for both parties, like even all three restaurants, even the restaurant, we could all just use each other's parking lot so long as everybody respects the property and doesn't leave. I mean, I find Bigsby trash all over my parking lot, every, and I never say anything about it because I think, like, what's the point of arguing with your neighbor when it's just part of the nature of the business. People leave their cups. It happens. We pick it up and move on with their lives. We did have that issue a few years ago, but we've taken care of that issue. We haven't had any problems with bottles and things like that. We take care of it. And we have our security guys take care of it and sweep. So I'm just really baffled at it.
And the reason why it came up again in May, I think that is because we had we were filing a transfer application for Jessica and Jeshu. And I was like, let's try to get this so on a moving forward basis. If we're allowed to transfer the permit to Jessica, that when she takes over formally, that it's again a fresh start and has the understanding and agreement in place with Big B. So that was really more about for Jeshu when I was asking Steve, can I get a contact info from the Big B folks to try to get this issue formally memorialized, addressed for a moving forward basis as well. We weren't able to get a formal agreement after the meeting with the town last year.
So about how long ago was the last time you were in there talking to Big B? Was that this time, like a year ago when you were trying to get that information? Or have you been in since?
I spoke with Christina, the manager in June. So we had a show out there. We had a conversation. I spoke with her in May.
Just a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I spoke with her in April as well. I know we had a conversation, like, I don't want any part of this. I'm fine with you guys. The staff says that. Natalie, I think Natalie's the assistant manager. I've had a direct conversation with her. One of my other managers, Kara, was there with me as well. We talked. And they were like, we're fine. And we have no problems with you guys. You're all right with us as long as the trash gets picked up. So I don't understand where the disconnect is happening. I really don't at this point in time. I don't know. We try to reach out to find out who the franchise owner is, to have a conversation with them, or who the property owner is too, to talk to them as well, to try to figure out how to solve that problem. So, but as for trash and issues like that, we haven't had that issue in a long time. So
the other thing we're looking for, though, and I think that the commission is looking for, is that there is a common thread here. And Steve's my client, but Steve, you're the common thread for these violations and the Big B. So he's heard that in the ATC, which is why we get through the renewal thing to take him out of the operations. It'll be Jessica, her ownership, her management to start fresh and, different owner. These issues.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I mean, I've got two daughters. I'm trying to, spend some more time with them. I mean, I'm got to focus on my real estate investments and move on with my life. That's kind of where I'm at this point with the situation.
What other issues are there?
I have no other questions, and those are the violations. I mean, we had the ones in 21. There was like 3 of them in 21, and then that's when we gave a 1-year renewal. And then, sorry, let me. Yeah, if you remember, we had the violations in 21, 21, 21. I think that's when we had discussed a 1-year renewal as well. 23, 24, 25, 25, and 26 have been the violations. How long have you all in the bar?
5 years.
So since 21?
5 years. Yeah.
My questions might revolve and be more appropriate if we get to the point of actually discussing the transfer. I guess my first question would be, Is your LLC formed specifically and only for the reason of purchasing this business?
Yes.
Do you understand you could purchase the business even if there is no license, if you go ahead and apply for any license that would be available wherever?
think
I guess what I'm saying, if
the
you're
cart
so
before the horse.
sure you want to buy this business and continue and be involved, predicated on all the issues that we're discussing, you can do that whether there's a current license or not.
All right. Right now, we're dealing with the fact that we have done a 1-year renewal. There have been a multitude of issues over the years. And 3 violations during the 3 or 4 violations, correct? During the last year or so, year plus, after given the 1-year renewal, with the stipulation that don't come back the next time with violations. So
What was last year a 1-year renewal? Or I think last year was an automatic. I know that when I was here in 24, I remember very clearly it was a 1 year and let's not see you here. I do think that 1 year there was.
even if it's a 2 or 3 year renewal, it's still, we are looking at,
The cumulative, I understand.
still looking at, after everything we go through, we still have violations all the way into 26.
Which is why
And-
Steve is out or wants to be out.
Well, but it happened. And now that is Steve out because, geez, you're gonna lose a license.
I'll let
You
you
know,
answer.
I mean, this is not what we're about. We are about protecting the neighborhood, the community, and dealing with businesses that are being properly run and respectful of the standards in our community. And it isn't fair. All the other license holders, if we bend the rules for somebody. It's, everybody has to toe the line, and it's tough. It's all, majority of these establishments in our community are mom and pop businesses. They're not corporations. It's people that put everything on the line to open it up, and there's an expectation that you be a good neighbor. So that's my 2 cents here. Any comments from the board?
You currently work there as a manager.
Yes,
Do you have any comments that you want to add?
I think that, so I started as, well, call me the Sunday warrior. I only worked Sundays when I started there. Observed a lot of what was going on in the bar. I have a lot of corporate experience, so when I came on, like, the things I'm seeing that I'm like not okay with, I'm bringing up, and Steve and I are having conversations. I've had conversations with other bartenders. I've since opened up my availability a little bit. I stopped running a corporate restaurant, so my schedule opened up a lot more. It's a bar. I'm not gonna say it's perfect. I don't know that any bar is. I have a lot of expectations for employees. I hold people accountable. I have kids. I've got a son that just joined the military. I have a lot on the line to do this, so I have stressed to them about the expectations. And I'm a no nonsense, like if it's happening and I find out it's happening, you're gonna be gone. We're not having a conversation about it because there's no reason for it. I ran restaurants for years and never had problems. Yes, I understand that a restaurants, but I ran Brewburger across from South Bend. I never had problems with people leaving intoxicated. I mean, people come in drunk. Do we have that problem still? Absolutely. Do I on Sunday have to send people coming over to linebacker home all the time, tell them I can't serve them? Happens all the time. But have I called an Uber or two because a person's shown up from somewhere else and I'm not comfortable telling them they have to leave my bar because I don't want them to kill my kid driving down the street? It's happened. There's a fine line. I get that you have to withdraw, and I'm I'm pretty strict about things. I can't speak for Steve on his behalf and what he did prior to me getting there. I wasn't there for a lot of the drama that happened and a lot of the big stuff that happened. But I'm very, like, the bartenders that are there understand, like, these things aren't allowed. We have security. When it's busier, we get more security. We have an on-call for security as well. We're trying to fix the issues. I think we've done a pretty good job in the last few months since I've been Steve, pretty much, other than like showing me, helping me do the ordering stuff, because I don't have a license to be able to do that stuff yet.
You mean ordering product because it's still his
Yeah.
license, but importantly, you've been calling the shots, making the rules since June.
Yeah.
Yeah. And running things, and Steve has not been.
Yep.
So questions, you said you had been working there Sundays only for how long?
Just over a year. My husband broke his neck, so yeah, just over a year.
Okay, what corporate restaurant were you running?
Burger.
Okay. And you were the manager there?
I was general manager for 3.5 years.
Okay,
Prior to that, I ran half the Cedar Point's food and beverage.
um,
May I, just ask?
sure.
Go ahead.
One of the things I'd like to add, if it's possible, Mr. Robert, if you could reach out to the local Roseland Police Department, they'll tell you about the improvements we've made and how happy they are about it. Sean and the assistant chief and Sean have been adamant about how good it has been for months now. And then you can, talk to them directly. You can ask them for yourselves. I'm not asking to be there. You can just read, Davey's gonna, like I said, Mr. Benecki was gonna reach out to you today and talk to you about it. And Sean was supposed to be here today to speak on our behalf, but he wasn't able to make it. He got called in for some work stuff. So, but you could speak with the Roseland Police Department directly. They can tell you and attest to what we've done to make the changes and the improvements.
So I can also tell you, I spoke back in May, June, when the transfer was going through to Assistant Chief Benecki and to Sean, and asked them both specifically, because I didn't want to waste your time, nor Jessica's time. I asked them both specifically, do either of them have an issue with Jessica or Cheers being where it is, continuing, so long as the corrective measures that have been put in place and moving forward, it's quiet the way that it has been. And with Jessica, and they both said, no, they had no issues with that. So I've talked to them both as well. Again, this has been a couple of months ago, but they've got my cell phone number and I asked them if they had any concerns to call me. I haven't heard anything. But
I mean, that'd be the easiest way for you to validate what we're saying. You could speak with the police department yourself. I mean, they're good folks. And we've worked really hard with them for months to make these issues. And we have to, like I said, we changed the hours. The other factor too, I just want everybody to keep in mind, being near the border of Michigan, there's been a lot of underlying factors with people taking edibles and other things where they seem like they're okay. And then all of a sudden they're not. And we don't know that until, it literally does not take very long to figure it out. But we've been that traffic coming from Michigan where they're doing other things besides having a couple of drinks. And that's been something we've had to work really hard to manage and cut off and change. So there's a lot of these factors with the societal changes. And that's been a little bit of an issue being so close to the border. And that's been something we've had to handle change. So I just ask for that understanding as well, please.
I would say that that's probably, I'm not saying it's not an issue, but probably minute, because I think 95% of your clientele is Notre Dame students. So is that to say they're not going and buying something and coming back? No, but it's not out of state. Oh, it's Notre Dame, like.
Yeah, we've worked hard to kind of take our focus away from the Notre Dame students since 23. We'll focus on an older crowd and like our food. We've worked really hard to change our menu.
A lot of our crowd, I mean.
Yeah.
At 6 weeks of Notre Dame football, yes, there's a lot of Notre Dame kids that come in, but honestly, a lot of our clientele is a lot of regulars and a lot of older people now.
Yeah.
And typically if you come in on a weekend by between, I'd say 11 and 1, there might be a younger crowd in there, but outside of that, a lot of older people anymore. We get a lot of families coming in during the day that coming in, just dine in. Sit on the patio and eat. Not as much of the younger crowd. I know that they said, and this was prior to me working there, prior to me being on the weekends, that Thursdays used to be crazy for them. I haven't seen a Thursday that's been busy, but I thought you couldn't handle one bartender since I started there.
Right.
It's not. It does, we do well, but we aren't doing near what you would think for a bar that is within walking distance to Notre Dame would do with Notre Dame students. I worked at Brew, I saw Brothers in Aurora, they're crazy busy with those kids, and I thought, oh, Cheers is gonna be that. It's really not. But I also think part of it is because you can't get into the building without an ID, and they know that now, and it's not. If you walk in, I don't care if you're walking with your crowd of friends, you walk in by yourself, you're getting carded at the door. One of us is coming up and scanning your ID. It has to scan, it has to be an actual ID. It's not easy to get in there unnoticed.
People get really upset about it lately. Actually, the last few months, especially the older, they think that they don't need to be carded. And it's just been like, you get 1-star reviews, they yell at, look at me, I'm clearly not 21, and they don't understand the law. So you gotta have an ID regardless. The other thing we did, a couple of important things. Cheers has been around for a long time, right? And people have known it to be metal bar, music bar. It's got a storied past. We had to make a hard decision to ban a lot of people on a permanent basis that were regulars over the years, even before I was part of the establishment, and just say, if we want to take this place in a new direction and focus on food, this is the change we're gonna have to make. And the other thing we have done, which has actually worked really well, is red wristbands and blue wristbands, right? Designated drivers, if they're coming in with a group of 4 or 5 and they're driving, who's driving the vehicle? So we keep an extra eye on that person, make sure as well. Like those are tough, and that's been very effective. It really has worked. Like they're not very complicated changes, but it has worked. So.
Okay. Are there any other questions? The board?
No.
What is the pleasure of the board?
You've been some pretty good testimony, and I believe that you're really trying, but I have to look at the cumulative actions over a long period of time. And, there's certain reasons and that statute, that were recommended reasons why we could or should or can't deny, but looking at it from the perspective that I feel that the neighborhood and the community really don't need or desire these services, I will make a motion for denial of the renewal. Knowing you do have an opportunity to go ahead and appeal in Indianapolis, you have the opportunity, if you're interested in buying the business, to find another license to purchase. But just based on the whole history, my motion is to deny.
Okay. There's a motion. I will make a second on it because of this has been a long-term issue. So there's a motion and a second. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye.
Man, I'm out today. It's one of those, I come in and I'm like, Cheers, such a problem. And then here I sit here and I hear your efforts and everything. And so that's where it just shows I don't make up my mind until I'm sitting here listening to what you have to say. I feel like, I feel like I'm gonna have to deny it as well. I don't think that you're completely out of the business. I think it's still going to, especially with this Doug or being the property owner or whatever, I think there's still gonna be some of the things there that are not going to get corrected at this time. Like, I think you've profited for a long time doing wrong things.
All right, so there's it's denied. You can appeal to the state.
there's so
I know.
I-
So I was gonna look to Eli. So what about the transfer? Can we discuss it at
my,
all?
my request would be to at least conditionally, there is the rule, as you're all, that the commission is allowed to, when a renewal's been denied, that they can allow a transfer to a new owner to go through and to take that place. And that was my hope for today, that understanding that the renewal was the first issue to have, to also be able to present the transfer to you. We're here today. The orange sign's been up. You've heard a lot of the testimony already from Jessica on what she's doing. I have, an affidavit that maybe you have in the transfer application that we submitted to the ATC with the transfer, stating that Steve is out, he is not operating. So that if the commission were to allow, pursuant to the rule that allows the transfer and renewals denied, the transfer to move forward, that you could take action on it.
You know what? I'm gonna change my vote to approve it for a 1-year renewal only. Because the transfer is on the books as have been applied for. Therefore, I would like to hear the testimony because this is like, I want to know, like, what are, Lee has already asked some corporation questions, so I do want to know that stuff. Not saying I would vote the same way on the transfer, but I just, I need to know some more information. I think the ATC does as well.
So if I may,
Okay, so time out.
okay,
We'll, here on RR 7144121, the transfer of Piers Pub license.
The second one also. That's the beer underlying permit.
Oh, okay, and then RR 714442122, which is transfer as well. One is the first one is the beer retailer, and the second one is the beer, wine, liquor restaurant, 210-1 transfer. So
as I mentioned, for the record, Alex Ittermill, attorney for Jeshu LLC, which is Jessica Chrisman, who's here. This is the affidavit that we submitted as part of the transfer application to move the permit to Jeshu.
Okay.
And then also here's the affidavit for the resale.
I have a series of questions.
Sure. Yeah. I
All
have
right.
the standard questions. Sorry.
Did you prepare this application yourself or did someone else?
I created the fusion.
Okay. Did you have a chance to review the application before you submitted it? And after it was prepared?
Yeah.
Were all the answers contained in this application answered in a truthful manner?
Yes.
Is there anything you wish to add to the application that you didn't get in there? Is this your first alcoholic beverage permit in the state of Indiana?
I'm gonna have a liquor license to serve, but yes, for.
Are you the only owner of the business?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the principal nature of your business gonna be?
Restaurant bar.
Is there at least 200 feet between you and the that's doesn't need to be asked. Do you understand that excise officers may enter, inspect, and search your establishment at any time without a warrant?
Yes, sir.
Are you applying for carryout privileges as well?
No.
Applying for limited separation? Do you have a policy for checking IDs and is it a written policy?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
IDs get checked at the door. If they are coming in with, as a minor, they have to be with the parent. They get marked with permanent marker on their hand. If they're a minor, they have to sit at a table with their parent, eat and leave. They're not allowed to hang out in the venue. As far as checking IDs, every person that comes in has to have their ID. It has to get scanned, has to be an actual ID. We don't take the paper copies and all the, I know that legally, yes, you can, but no, we don't do them. We don't even accept some states now have switched to these digital things. We don't do, we have to have a physical ID, has to match the person. It's gotta scan, it's gotta be valid. We have a scanner at the door. Come in, comes up and scans you. You're the only bartender in the building. You have the scanner with you behind the bar and they come up to the bar and scan as they walk in the building.
So you scan everyone that comes in the building,
You, even.
regardless of
even you,
age?
I would scan your ID.
Okay,
So legally, you cannot take the piece of paper. That's for voting purposes only.
all right. What happens if a minor would sell to what happens if an employee would sell to a minor?
They're automatically terminated.
And what would happen if they didn't card it?
They
So,
get terminated.
is that in writing?
Yes. And we had a team meeting yesterday again about it, just because it's football season and, gotta be a little bit extra.
What is gonna change now that the football season's upon us and Notre Dame is back? You took over 3 months ago
We will
during
have
the summer months,
extra
but
security on the weekends for football weekends when they're there. During the week, it's same business as always. It's part of everybody that walks in the door. You don't have a security person, you're carding them. We do have a security team on the weekends that stands at the door and cards or stands at the, it's nice out, we have to stand outside, so then they can't even come up to the patio without trying to, kids are slick,
and you're gonna be the full-time manager?
yes.
You'll be there every night that you're open?
Every night that I'm open, I will have another manager there, 1 or 2 nights. But yes, I will be there.
How do you decide whether or not the bartender behind the bar has a scanner versus when you have more employees and have somebody at the door? Is it a time? Is it amount of?
So if we're standing at the door, they're getting banded when they walk in the door. If the person is at the door, has to walk away to use the restroom or whatever, somebody comes up to them. We have somebody at the door Fridays and Saturdays. Thursdays, if it picks back up at the moment, it's not, we're not even. It's enough to justify staying open till 2 o'clock in the morning, so. As business picks up for the weekend or for the football time, we will add those people on. And then if the scanner travels with the bartender, if they're the only person.
Okay, what are your hours going to be?
At the moment, we are doing 3 to 1 during the week. Sundays. We just cut back to 3. We were opening at 12. Guess it's possible to do that. Saturdays and Fridays, we do last call at 2:30 in the morning. Everybody has to be in the building by 3. We open at 3 p.m.
You're going to have live entertainment.
Yes.
You take over if you're starting a fresh start, are you gonna change the name of the establishment?
Not at the moment. We are debating changing like the whole theme of it, but starting now.
You will be leasing the building from Steve alone, or is there a LLC or property, other investors?
No, it's gonna just be our LLC leasing it from the
You'll be
miles.
entering in a lease, is it at a fixed lease payment, or is it a variable payment predicated on your
It'll
profitability?
be fixed, not based on property.
Ron, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, for that scanner on the CM side, so yeah, I'll try and payment.
It works outside. We'll just take it outside. It's like a handheld.
But then I heard also. pay it,
Yeah,
so
we'll
you
take the
can
break.
pay it.
Yeah, we can.
And make sure with your entertainment permits, you'll have to get that to the state. For all that, make sure.
And you're the sole partner or whatever, it's LLC.
Any other questions?
That's what I've got you. Does she have a written operating agreement?
Did you, I mean, I've got the filing with the Secretary of State that shows Jessica as the sole member. Did you, when you put the LLC together, did you create an operating agreement? You just registered with the Secretary of State.
I don't know how far I could or should be able to go, but I'll just keep going. Financially, who's underwriting the financing for this? Private bank, yourself, or the current owner?
Myself,
I saw in your history, you did have a bankruptcy in your history. Okay, how long ago was that? I thought it was like 8 years or so ago.
2016, 27. Okay, it's pulled out 27.
Okay, so 9 years ago, 9 years ago. So yeah, I guess to kind of elaborate on LEAP, like where, I don't know disclosure, how much you paid for this license. You don't have to disclose that today, but where'd you get those funds?
I cashed in a 401k and I left my previous employer.
And all that's documented if we need to have that documented.
The cash out of 401k, yep. Worked 3 jobs for a really long time. I didn't pay a whole lot for it, but, so.
All right, do you understand?
I saw fair
You're my
market value.
point
Is
a
that what
lot
you
of
paid?
times, not you specifically, but, you know. Your business, you have everything on the line here. Okay. You know, if state excise comes in, and they will, you know, and they find underage kids in there, you know, or other violations, it's expensive. The fines are expensive. You know, selling a beer to a minor, even if you get $10 for that beer, the $1,000 fine, you're not recouping it.
Who was the 401 through?
I had one through Cedar Point and I had one through River.
And how long had you had those with those companies?
The entire time I was at Birds for 3.5 years on top of plus 4 years with Cedar Point. 6% match.
Okay.
Are there any other questions of the board?
Yeah,
I'm
I don't.
assuming that there's probably some provision in your purchase agreement that at the time of closing, sometime afterwards, you'll be looking at operating capital and making any adjustments to whatever prices you decided on.
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
But, so Steve, your LLC, you still are gonna own the property. Are you the only one on that LLC?
Yes,
Or-
correct. It's that LLC doesn't own property. It's a different.
Okay,
Yeah, the social LLC does not own property. That's just strictly for operating. Cheers.
okay, so it, like Doug, is he part of that?
No, he's not.
No,
It was
only
just
you.
Doug gave me a loan money to remodel the property. There's no documentation. He's not on my LLC. That is just myself.
Okay, but not the social LLC, but a different LLC that you are the sole
And the
member
sole-
of owns the property.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Or Fish Live actually is the name of the LLC.
okay, I think I saw that some,
Yes,
actually.
it's not,
Um,
Doug has nothing to do with that LLC. I've owned the property before Doug was a.
Is it Nisa part of that?
Yeah,
The property owner?
yeah, she's actually,
That's-
she's on there as an like a manager in case something happens to me. She doesn't have any like manage, like operating, control.
Okay,
Any other questions?
No.
What is the pleasure of the board on RR 7144121? This is for the beer retailers for Cheers. Transfer. It's the first one.
well, you do them
Or
both
do 'em
together.
together? Oh,
They're
okay.
together.
All right, and then.
One
RR
doesn't exist without the other.
Cheers
Yeah.
Pub.
I'm gonna abstain as well. I just wanna, do you mind if I ask a question for clarification? If the transfer is approved, but the license remains denied, that or it's how does that work in practice? is that covered in your agreement that it retroactively, like, I don't want a situation where, you know, you bought a license and then it's, just want to make sure that that's something that mechanics are.
Hopefully your documentation is like conditional on the transfer of the permit, right? The sale is
That's-
conditional on the
I didn't
transfer.
have it, yeah. I didn't
That went to this until we.
transaction documents.
Okay,
Legally and procedurally at the commission level, as I mentioned, the commission could approve the transfer even though the renewal had been denied. So hopefully it's where we'll end up.
Okay, is there a motion?
well, I don't know that, wait, I'm not done discussing yet, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think. My thoughts are this, so we don't want Cheers existing like it's existing. Like the bottom line, it's a problem place. It's a public nuisance. It needs to, I won't say go away, but the problems need to go away. Has the bar been there for years and years and years? Yep. Has it been a problem for years and little problems here and there, nothing like historically as bad as it's been the last 5 years. I have issues, I think, with Jessica's corporation not buying the entire business outright, like property, building, license and everything. Because, yeah, I believe what you say about the chief, not saying it doesn't need to be there. Like, it's not like doesn't need to be in that neighborhood. Are you guys thinking, like, are you getting one,
Yeah, I mean,
conversation?
And again, if you'd prefer that I don't, like, I'm gonna abstain and I'm not gonna make any comments. Can I ask a?
I think you can still participate, yeah,
Yeah.
I think you can still
Yeah, no,
participate.
I agree.
Mhm.
So there's typically, and I haven't seen your corporate business records and how the structure is. You have the real estate entity, which is the landlord. Then you have the operations entity,
correct,
which is, the tenant and running the business.
correct.
Then there's the actual alcohol license, which allows the new entity is buying
Like,
the operation. It's
The
buying the
operation.
license.
correct, not the property, nothing with the property. I'm just gonna be, my other LLC is just gonna be the land.
Okay, so your current entity, which is the operations entity,
Right,
will now have,
no control.
and will it have any other purpose for existing?
No, it's the only reason why it was created, so it'll be shut
Okay,
down,
so once you get paid, it'll wind out.
correct.
And then there's gonna be a new lease between the landlord and Jeshu, which will be the operator and owner of the license.
Correct.
Is there any seller financing for the lease or the?
We're still negotiating, like I said, we even needed to meet with you all, just to have a discussion and talk to you about how this was gonna go out, and then we could finalize everything at that point in time. So we just I wanted to really talk to you all about, this has been a long road, right? First bar I ever owned. I bought the property as an investment because I think overall in the future, I think Rolston's future is bright. Ran the business. It was something that I had never done before, and I worked really hard at the tail end of it to change the dynamic of the business and have it be a food oriented business. I mean, the society's changed ever since COVID. It's been different. People's tempers and temperament have been different. We should have tightened the leash on some things more. That's where Jess's corporate experience comes in, and I don't have the corporate experience to run a business like this the way she does. And that's really what it comes down. But I can attest to, if I just ask you all on your own to speak with the Rolston Police Department and Sean and the assistant chief and just talk to them. They'll tell you the changes and the things that I've done and that are going in the right direction and where they need to be. That's all I can say. And I apologize to
You
the
know,
board.
Steve, I don't mean to be like critical of how somebody decides to conduct a negotiation or sale, but I would think at this point, you two should really know all the gory details of the prices, the financing, who's holding paper.
We do,
I
we do, we do. We're to know that was, we're talking about the license. We weren't in the mindset of that. So
And you do. That's your testimony is you do.
Money wise and
You are gonna be the complete owner of the business.
yes,
And what you're buying. You're buying the business, the goodwill, the name, the
yes.
alcohol license, hopefully.
Go for the building infrastructure or stuff, it's like still gonna be steep, still sprinklers and fire alarm system, split systems.
anything attached.
So that would be Steve. However, the operating of that business still relies on me, so will there be a more of a pushback to him? Absolutely, because I'm, so, I have that corporate side, we're not gonna wait around for 6 months to fix the sprinkler, we're not gonna,
The lease drafted,
I'm sorry,
does the lease exist already?
No.
Is it
Yeah.
plan to be a triple net lease? Is the plan to be,
It's not a triple net lease, no.
okay, so you're gonna still be responsible for
Taxes,
and maintenance of the
maintenance, correct?
property?
Yes. That's what I do for a living in general. I do property rental management, and things like that. So that's my wheelhouse. I'm comfortable with that. So I'm just going back to handling what I do for a living in general. So
So I think on the application,
And
it asks if there's a lease.
Or the right to occupy, and there's a lease that was all contingent on, is the renewal going to happen? And so Jessica didn't want to sign a lease for a long term if this all falls
for a
apart.
building I'm not gonna be able to use.
yeah,
The
Okay.
transfer goes through, suspect you two are gonna sign.
Okay.
sign a lease.
we would be hoping, or I would be hoping to see some major changes. There might be exceptions. But I can tell you, my experience sitting here is when we have businesses that have some of these ongoing problems and violations, one common denominator always seems to be you're open till 3 o'clock in the morning on the weekend. I know it's legal, I know you can, but I'm just saying, if you're looking to avoid issues, problems, whatever, you need to decide how late you really want to open. And if you do decide to close at 1 or midnight rather than 3, that loss of revenue will financially sustain the business.
If at 1 o'clock in the morning, because people will say, well, we got people from, XYZ bar, they closed and they came to our place. Well, is it a good idea if that's when they came and then they had drunk people and they came into your place and suddenly you're faced with the license or with a violation? Yeah, ask yourself, is it worth it to stay open that extra half hour? If you're just gonna get an influx of drunks and risk your license and your livelihood, and $1,000 fine or a $500 fine or, costly,
Understood.
And this is a license with, not 1 or 2 strikes, it's a license with, so even if it is
yeah.
renewed and transferred.
And we had had that conversation numerous times before this. That, the people that were getting in that late at night, they're just not.
It's not worth it. It may not be, you're gonna
And most
find,
of the time, they're not even coming in to spend money, they're just drinking on their home.
yeah, no kidding.
they're just looking for cinder.
And more often than not, more often than not, live entertainment and music attracts that. And whether I'm doing a gummy in the parking lot or I already had 3 drinks somewhere else, music will attract them. So I don't know if I'm giving you advice or asking questions or whatever, but I'm just saying, trying to share my experience. And my experience on this board has been people that are open at 3 o'clock in the morning are always a lot more trouble than anybody else that appears before us.
This is the longest hearing we've had in a long time. For one license.
I'm sorry.
No.
Really.
It's a lesson that, it's too bad there are not more people here. to understand the risk involved, you know? And I feel for you because you're gonna go home tonight and not be able to sleep, you know? But do what you say.
I still have concerns, honestly, about the, and that's just gonna go towards my way of voting, is just the control and, um, investment, I guess, that Steve still has in the property. He's still gonna own the property, so he wants business to do well, because you want to get paid rent. So you're still profiting from whatever the business does. Still, I hear what you're saying about, oh, if the sprinkler needs fixed, but if it's up to Steve to do it, we've already seen that we got issues. So you can push back all you want, but he owns the building. So that's where I'm starting to go, you know what, I've seen that enough times in my career, honestly, that it doesn't matter what you know, what you want to do. He's the owner of the building and he controls it, really. So,
Can Chief Melson, I mean, I know that we've worked together on the property. I mean, I hope you can attest, we are on the tail end of the issues that we've had in the building for the last years with the sprinklers, the alarms and stuff like that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and you do, and I'm gonna say you do get the things done.
Yeah.
But it's not on a very timely basis.
Right.
It's always had to be, it had to go to places to
Right.
get it done.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
I don't want to have to.
Understood. Officer Tarver, one of the things that my life, I've got a bunch of rental property that I deal with, and I do have my kids up in Highland Park, so I do have to travel a lot, which kind of leads into some of these delays. It's not an intentional disregard. It's just simply a matter of logistics for me. I do have a lot of other maintenance issues on these properties, which is why I've gotten to the point where getting out of this thing is going to make my life a lot easier. I've got other remodels. It's just been too much. I've tried to run it, trust people that I thought were going to do a better job than they did, and they didn't. And, you know, and for the record, I haven't really made much money in this business. After the fines and the issues we've had, there's been a net loss to business, to be very frank with you. We actually,
I was just gonna say, I
Yeah.
think you paid Alex more than you paid in fines.
Alex has made
but-
more money than I have this year on this. I can hear you.
On the lease thing, I haven't seen the lease, but I suspect Jessica's gonna have rights as the tenant to say, get in here and fix it, because if the fire marshal shuts her down or the Department of Health shuts her down because some equipment's broken, that's a landlord responsibility. That's your leverage to do that. But hopefully a combination of that plus Steve not having to worry about restaurant things, just focus on what you are successful
It will be
with, which
easier.
is the property side of it.
It'll be easier for me to focus on those things when I don't have to worry about operating the business and not stressing about it every day. Because that's, you know, going to have to get supplies when I have to drop my repairs and go run and do that. It just gets daunting and then things fall through the cracks. That's really.
Will you be on site for? You plan on being on site for anything other than rental pickup and?
Not really. I haven't been in there in weeks. And as again, I've been up in Chicago and remodeling my property. I just had working on my portfolio, my rental properties, all the kids coming in for the fall and moving in. So we've been spending a lot of time doing that. I mean, it's just been hours and hours of that. So really it's, as for the Cheers building itself, we're planning on recoating the roof and obviously addressing the final issues with the fire chief that we need to take care of. And I think there was one other thing we discussed later for, a couple of ideas I wanted to address to you to make the building more safe, but that's neither here nor there at this point in time, but we could talk about that later. But that's where I'm at with this is once I'm out of this, I can just focus on my real estate, which is where I like to go back to doing. That's really kind of what I love to do.
So
Okay.
I know in the past when I've done details and we've been there for minors or whatever, it's you and is it Doug? Is that the other gentleman that? Oh,
At that time, he's no longer involved and he hasn't been.
okay, so he's not gonna be around either.
No, he's gone. He's actually down in up the Michigan Coldwater Creek and doing his own stuff. So
Okay. You guys, clearly you know each other, working relationship because you've been working there for a year. Any personal relationship or socialization outside of work or anything like that?
no,
I just wanting to make sure that there's not like, hey, my best friend over here that I see every
No.
week isn't, okay.
no, I mean, it's like after work, the last thing I want to do is hang.
I'm married, I have 2 kids, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, kids.
Depending on what road or this thing all ends. I'm going to choose my words here to express how I feel. And I just want you to understand, in spite of ownership and changes, whatever, there's going to be a history that you may have nothing to do with that could come back. And it might not be because of you, or it might not be because of Steve. It's just the location and the type of the business it is. And that's where,
Yeah.
you know, I'd like to be the cheerleader to say, go for it and score the touchdown and everybody be happy. I just want to see you succeed, and you're gonna have an upward road. I mean, it's gonna be tough.
Cheers wasn't always this way. It wasn't always an issue. I've been on this board for, I don't know, 15 some plus years, and when I first got on, Cheers was never an issue. Right? So it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be. And going forward, your goal is not to have it that way.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna add that to your comments about there's a history with Cheers. Part of that history is a corrective action plan that Cheers submitted.
Mhm.
And it was actually required as part of the extension request and whatnot. And Jessica understands, in part that I've discussed with the HTC prosecutor, that the terms of that corrective action plan carry forward with her operation. So the pieces that were implemented as part of that, to try to understanding that history doesn't just start fresh, there's history is there.
mhm,
So to your point, yeah, Jessica understands what she's getting into, the challenges to prove to you, to the neighbors, to the,
Okay.
so in a nutshell, Jessica, how and why did you go, yeah, I think I want to buy this bar?
So Monster Bar has been I wanted to own a bar. My kids are older now, they're not little, they don't need me at home every night. Make sure they go to bed. My eldest just joined the military Monday. It's in nice sport. Thank you. I am looking for something I can grow, but I don't want to. I'm not gonna say I didn't want something that was already flourishing and great. I want something I can build into my own. I think Cheers is a good location. I think it has had a bad rep. They've done a lot of stupid things. They had a lot of stupid employees that worked there. As terrible as that sounds, we did have a lot of, they had a lot of problems. I've read the stories and the things and the news articles and things like that. But it's also a place that's been there forever, and the people that enjoy it for other reasons than the dumb shit those people have done there. Saves my mouth.
Any other questions, comments? Pleasure of the board.
I'm gonna vote to approve the transfer, recommend to
Motion
transfer
Are we taking one or both together?
together. One doesn't exist without the other.
Okay, well, you kind of said what you're thinking, so I'll make a motion that we approve the transfer for 7144121 and 7144122.
That's the motion.
I
She made-
second it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Motion
I'll
second.
second it. I guess.
Okay, motion and second to approve both of these transfers. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Right.
Peace. Good luck.
Thank you.
thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, so, yeah,
Um,
you'll deal with the ATC
I will.
and you'll deal with Alex.
I do need to talk to you down the road about some of the things that our insurance company asked to make some changes on the building. And I know I got one floor plans by you and some things before anything. So when we have a moment, I'd like to meet with you, and then with Alex, I'm just gonna submit that for your review
Okay,
because it'll help.
It'll run through Jessica.
Yeah.
yep,
Oh, okay, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
You are now out.
you're now out.
All right, well, nice knowing
And
you.
Jessica, and Jessica says, hey, I want to make some floor plan changes, and she runs that by you, and then she will submit them to me.
Okay,
Floor plan drawing,
Okay.
saying this is what I want to change, and, yeah.
okay, all right, all right.
And submit it before any changes are made.
Yeah,
Yep, yeah, I made that mistake. I
I'm
remember that.
getting that a
You
lot.
You got on me
lately.
about that.
Yeah,
Do you
So,
want me to get the
okay,
paper out of here?
thank you.
thank you.
Next up, thank you,
Thank you.
good luck, thank
Good
you.
luck.
Next up, Beer Bellies Barbecue, is there anyone here from there?
No, we need to vote on that today. I emailed them, I sent them letters every month. I emailed them again, just yesterday, and I was like, are you coming? Like, are you still interested in pursuing this permit? And if you're not, you can file a withdrawal. I just have to have it before the meeting today, and I haven't heard or seen
Otherwise, that
anything.
was iffy.
You know,
Yeah.
this is
So,
62995 north.
Yeah, this is RR 7143728.
In my,
Beer Bellies Barbecue at 62995 State Road 931 in South
I'm
Bend.
just trying to, in my mind, say, where are they at?
it's South 31 south of the bypass.
South of the bypass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're not even in business.
No,
No,
it was a business. They opened for a short time. I think I don't know that they even opened for a short time. The gentleman that redid that whole building, it was a gas station
Right.
building, and they redid it, made it a beautiful restaurant.
And I've driven by it a
And
number of times, and I say to my wife, I said, these people were talking about opening up and
Mhm.
it was a father-son deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then then this is a transfer, well, they never opened or something, or even opened for a short
Yeah.
time, and then there's a new people, but they're not.
I'm gonna make a motion to deny, and if they ever decide to do something, they could always reapply.
I'll second that.
Motion in the second to deny Beer Bellies Barbecue. All those in favor signify by aye.
I, that was fast.
Yeah.
Next up
Wait, we still have to go back to Knollwood. We have
is
to,
Knollwood Country Club.
I'd like
Is
to
there
make a motion that we continue.
I'll second.
a motion and a second to continue Knollwood Country Club R 7142451 until September 23rd. All those in favor signify by aye. Next up is Nectar Coffee House and Community Table LLC, 516 South Michigan, South Bend. RR 7144171 for a beer, wine and liquor, river and lake.
Thank you for your patience.
No, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Note to self, don't become a public nuisance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Could you state your name for the record? Hello,
Catherine Curry.
hello, Catherine.
Do we have to card?
Yeah. And young lady, what is your name?
This is Cora Curry.
I Cora.
How do you spell your last name?
Keu.
Okay, you wanna explain what you're doing and
And your name?
Is Madison Wilkinson, Wilkeson. Yeah, so we are here for Nectar Coffee House and Community Table. We are a coffee shop and restaurant opening soon, here in downtown. The concept is coffee shop by day, 7 days a week. Restaurant is going to start out 3 days a week. And it's gonna be family style service, so big shared plates for the table, very communal dining, kind of.
where is this?
Wait, I need to stop things for a second. I need to know who you are, because you are not Charity Stowe, who is the owner. So who
Yeah.
are you?
No, that's a good call. So I am the manager,
Okay,
the front of house manager specifically.
okay,
And I'm the creative director on the project.
okay.
So Charity is out of town, which she could be here today.
Got it. Do either of you have power of attorney?
No.
No. Okay. You need to read the questions first before
Okay,
we
here we go.
ask them any more questions.
Okay.
Otherwise, we.
Did one of you prepare this application yourself or did someone prepare it for you?
Charity and I prepared it together.
Okay. Did you have a chance to review this application after it was prepared? Were all the answers contained in this application answered in a truthful manner? Is there anything you wish to add to this application?
Not at this time.
Is this your first alcoholic beverage permit in the state of Indiana? Are you the owner of the business? No, you are not. What is the principal nature of the business?
Restaurant and coffee.
Is there at least 200 feet between your premises and a church or school?
Yes.
Do you understand that excise officers may enter, inspect, and search your premises at any time without a warrant? For permits other than DL, are you applying for carryout? No. Are you applying for limited separation?
We are.
Do you have a policy for checking IDs that is a written policy? Who will you be? What is that policy?
Card everyone under 40. Ideally, and training to card everyone possible, but 40 is the written limit.
What's gonna happen if someone sells to a minor?
That would be termination.
Is that in writing?
Yes.
That answers those.
That way we're not duplicating some of the questions.
Where is 516? What are you?
So this is on Michigan Street down, close to the transpo station.
Oh, okay.
It's the Monarch Butterfly Building next to the gas station.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Are you gonna keep the butterflies?
No.
Oh, okay.
Windows, it'll be windows.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's gonna be great, but.
Yeah.
So when are you hoping to open?
So construction is still underway. It is supposed to be wrapping up within the next 30 days. And it is a mad dash to open after construction wraps up. We don't have a specific date as for opening right now.
Okay. But hopefully October-ish.
Early October, I think it's our
Okay.
hopeful.
Okay.
Denver.
What is your experience with managing alcohol business or business in general?
Yeah, so I was a front of house manager at Chicory Cafe for
Okay.
a while. That was kind of my introduction to the industry. I spent 5 years there. At which point I kind of switched to more of a full service restaurant. So I served at Rose Lily and L Street Kitchen. Both places I had experience serving various drinks, beer, wine, and liquor. And that brings us to now. I've carried an employee permit the whole time.
Okay. So you're gonna have main level and then, which is gonna have dining, upper level for events. Is that right?
Main level and lower level.
Okay,
Main levels for dining, lower level also for dining. Well, so we're not gonna have dinner service down there. That is for the coffee service. So our coffee shop goers will be able to go and use the downstairs space. Our prep kitchen is also.
okay. You are not gonna be a, multi-use place, right? Where people can come in and do their work, like after hours type thing, where they have a key to get in
No.
and go do their office work, because they work from home. Does that make sense?
Like a workspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
it'll just
shared
be a
work.
coffee shop.
Okay, you're not a shared workspace, you're your own business, okay.
The
Let-
owner will have an office in
Oh,
the space,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not public.
If you will look at those real quick, so the floor plan, it looks like there's 3 levels,
Upstairs is apartments.
okay.
Oh, thank you for clarifying. Yes.
But that shows a basement level with the kitchen, which is what you were kind of mentioning, the office and the kitchen, and then it has that event space level.
So that is the back of the building. It is a part of the building, but it is not a part of Nectar. So we are leasing the front of the building
Okay,
and the event space is separate.
okay. Who owns the building?
Historic development.
Okay.
And that's charity.
Is that charity? Okay, okay, so she owns a whole building, Nectar, which is her, but she's having you, okay.
Yes.
And then, so then she may rent the back part out to somebody else for the
She's
event?
planning to manage it herself,
Okay,
and the idea is that Nectar would eventually do catering for it, but it'd be
Okay.
separate businesses.
Got it.
So hoping to do like maybe small reception, like wedding reception.
baby
or-
showers
Yeah,
or
it's
something like
small,
that.
so not big.
Okay, but what kind of food are you gonna have?
So our cuisine has been described as, kind of Midwestern home style. But it's gonna be kind of it would cover a lot of cultures of food. We'll have a lot of very homey, like cozy foods, things that are gonna be good to be shared, for dinner. So that, like, we've talked about short rib and like a lobster bake, things like that. Breakfast is gonna be single serve like sandwiches and stuff, all on biscuits. And then I think we have some soup and salad planned on the menu as well.
What are your hours?
7 a.m. So we have two different hourly setups. Sunday through Wednesday, it will be 7 a.m. through 6 p.m. Food service will go 7 a.m. to 3, and then it'll be coffee only until 6, coffee and only pastries until 6. And then dinner will be Thursday through Saturday, and that will start 4 until 9 or 10. We haven't decided on the closing time yet.
So you're not gonna be open on Thursday morning for breakfast?
Oh, I'm sorry. So yes, Thursday through Saturday, we will also be open 7 a.m. until 4
Okay,
for regular coffee service, same as the other day.
got it.
The only difference is that on Thursday through Saturday, you'll also be open for dinner.
Yes.
Okay, and just so you're aware that even if your kitchen like closes type thing at 3 o'clock, anytime you're serving alcohol, you still have to be able to provide hot soup, hot sandwiches, coffee, pop and milk.
Yes.
So even if it's, hey, the kitchen's closed, we're not gonna make you anything. However, we have these ham sandwiches that we can nuke in a microwave or put in a panini press, whatever, that's fine. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you can limit, you just can't say, sorry, we have no food.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I covered about everything.
Any other questions of the board? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion in the second, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Bye.
We wish you all the best.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations.
It sounds like it's been an awesome place. Goodbye.
Thank you.
So reach out to me before you are ready to open. Once the construction's complete, the permit's gonna be held in escrow pending the final inspection. So then I will come over and I'll do the inspection and permit on escrow.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right,
Great,
you're welcome.
thank you.
Good luck. Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion? Second,
Second.
motion in the second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Michelle, in your